That morning started with a soft breeze slipping through the windows, and I felt this strange mix of anticipation and a deep, quiet peace. I'd been planning this trip for months, a long visit to my sister in another city. It felt like everything was finally falling into place. My suitcase was packed and waiting by the door. All my travel documents were sorted, or so I thought, and I'd even whipped up a special breakfast just for me. I sat there at the kitchen table, a hot mug warming my hands, just watching the early morning light catch the leaves in the garden. And I thought to myself, maybe this trip is exactly what I need. Some real, uninterrupted time for me, a chance to sort out my head, to breathe easy again. As I sipped that coffee, memories from the past few weeks started to bubble up. The relentless routine that had been draining me dry. The little arguments that somehow always grew into mountains. And Augusto's silence, a silence that had started to hang heavy in our home, like a stone. I knew, deep down, it wasn't a lack of love. At least I didn't think it was. But the emotional gap between us had grown, slow and sneaky, until it felt like a canyon. Still, as I left the house that morning, my heart felt steady. The road was quiet. The wind on my face felt like a promise of freedom. The city was just starting to stir, and I felt like I was stirring with it, waking up to a new chapter. But then, just as I was getting near the airport, a jolt of ice shot through me. My passport. I could picture it perfectly, sitting right on the little side table by the front door. My heart sank. I had to turn back. There was no other choice. The drive back felt 10 times longer. I pulled into the driveway, and that's when the first alarm bell went off. The garage was empty. His car should have been there. The silence that greeted me was too thick, too absolute. It felt wrong. I decided not to use my key, not right away. I crept around to the side of the house and peeked through the living room window, and that's when I heard it. His voice. But it wasn't the voice I knew. It was light, carefree, and far too intimate. "Good thing that suitcase is gone for 3 months," he said. "We'll have plenty of time to make the most of it." My body froze. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. And then, a sound that shattered my world. A soft, feminine laugh. It wasn't my sister's. It wasn't a friend's. It was the laugh of a stranger in my home. A fire ignited in my gut, a clarity so sharp it burned. I walked back to the front door, turned the key, and pushed it open. And there she was, young, impeccably dressed, bold as anything. And him, stammering, his face a mask of shock and guilt. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't scream. I just looked him straight in the eye, my own voice eerily steady. "So this is how you see me off, Augusto?" I asked. I didn't want his lies, his excuses. I didn't want any of it. I let the handle of my suitcase drop to the floor in the hall. The thud echoed in the sudden, suffocating silence. "Enjoy your time together," I said, my gaze sweeping over both of them. "I'm going to enjoy mine." And with that, I turned around and walked out. The wind hit my face again, but this time it felt different. It wasn't just a promise of freedom. It was freedom. I started walking, aimless, just wandering through the city as it slowly came to life. Everything seemed sharper, more alive. The vibrant colors of the flowers on the sidewalks, the gentle breeze, the sound of strangers laughing on a cafe patio. It was like I was seeing the world for the first time, in high definition. As fate would have it, I literally bumped into Clotilde, an old neighbor from years ago. She was one of those people who just radiates warmth and wisdom. She took one look at my face and, without a word, guided me to a nearby cafe. Over tea and pastries, I told her everything. She just listened, nodding, offering a hug when I needed it most. We talked for hours, not just about Augusto, but about my delayed dreams, the things I'd put on hold for so long. When I left her place, I felt lighter. The hurt was still there, a dull ache in the background, but it was fading. The sharp, searing pain was being replaced by something else. Resolve. In the days that followed, I threw myself into reclaiming my life, my home, my time. I started tending to the garden again, really getting my hands in the dirt. I devoured books I'd been meaning to read for years. I even signed up for a watercolor class, something I'd always wanted to do but never made time for. I was rediscovering simple joys, all for me. And then, another surprise. Miguel, a childhood friend I hadn't seen in forever, was back in town. He showed up at my door one afternoon with a bouquet of wildflowers he'd picked on a walk. We fell back into our old rhythm so easily, the laughs bubbling up from a place deep inside me I thought I'd lost. There was no rush, no pressure, just genuine connection. As for Augusto, he vanished. I heard whispers from the neighbors, flimsy excuses about a work transfer. I didn't care to hear the details. My house, once a place of tense silences, was transformed. It became a party spot in the best way possible, filled with the giggles of friends, the aroma of shared meals, and greenery everywhere. I realized something profound during that time. Happiness isn't some grand destination you arrive at. It's this. It's the people who truly see you. It's the freedom of an unplanned morning. It's the quiet you choose for yourself. The betrayal wasn't the end of my story. It was just the spark that forced me to build a new one, from the ground up. And now, I smile without fear. I live without apology. Every step I take, every flower I plant in my garden, is a testament to the life I built for myself. It's all mine. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If it resonated with you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to my channel for more stories about finding your way back to yourself. See you next time.